single one of you are doing absolutely fantastic today. Are in day 4 of our snowstorm from last week. So I haven't been able to go out of the house very much, but at least the roads are, I think, slowly starting to get a little bit better. Our neighborhood is not very good at the moment, and so it's kind of difficult for my car or my husband's Bronco to get out of the driveway. So I know places like Nashville and parts of Mississippi had some really bad ice. Luckily, it was just snow and sleet for us, but those states, Tennessee and Mississippi, had a lot more ice than we did. So all the people that are dealing with that, I feel for you, and I hope that you're able to get your power back on if you lost it. So I got this book. I think it was in Hot Springs. We were in Hot Springs for one of my husband's U.S. Open golf qualifiers, and they still had a Books A Million, which is not common anymore. And this was in their bargain section. It was on sale for $9.97. So we're both very fascinated with Japanese culture, and so I was like, okay, well, that is 100% going home with us. So I figured that this would be a good book to kind of read. It's different stories and ancient tales, and I think it's going to be really interesting. So do not forget to hit the like and subscribe button before we get started. So if you do fall asleep, you already had that taken care of. Thank you guys so much for all of the support, and let's go ahead and get started with the video. Alright, this says, from the late 1890s to the early 1900s, the writer and traveler Richard Gordon Smith spent 9 years in Japan. He came into contact with Japanese people from all walks of life, and he collected with enthusiasm the stories and folklore that they told him. The 57 tales in this collection include stories about love and passion, ghosts and gods, mountains, trees and flowers, history and legend. They reflect Japan's history as a warrior nation with stories of the samurai and other legendary fighters, and their heroic deeds and codes of honor. So this will be very interesting to start. It's a crisp book. Bless it, I'm gonna break the spine. We have some beautiful flowers on the front there. I'm gonna skip the preface and just go straight into the legends. So we have our table of contents. Like it said, there's 57 stories. So we will start with story number 1. We have the Golden Hairpin, chapter 1, chapter 1, chapter 1, chapter 1. Up in the northern city of Sendai. My stomach just growled. In the northern city of Sendai, whence come the best of Japanese soldiers, there lived a samurai named Hasuyuma. Forgive me when I pronounce these names incorrectly. Hasuyuma was rich and hospitable, and consequently much thought of and well liked. Some 35 years ago, his wife presented him with a beautiful daughter, their first child, who they called Ko, which means small when applied to a child, much as we say Little Mary or Little Jane. Her full name was really Hasuko, which means Little Lily, but here we will call her Ko for short. Exactly on the same day name shall be Konojo to your little daughter Ko, both whom are now aged 2 weeks only. Oh, they're like fresh babies. May they live long and happy lives together. That is very early to decide their, like, marriage. Okay. Here we go. Hasuyuma took the pin and handed it to his wife to keep. Then they drank sake to the health of each other and to the bride and bridegroom of some 20 years thence. Yeah, they've got a while. A few months later, after this Saito in some way caused displeasure to his feudal lord, and being dismissed from service, left Sendai with his family. No one knew. 17 years later, with one exception, the most beautiful girl in all Sendai. The exception was her sister Keiki, just a year younger and as beautiful as herself. Many were the suitors for Oko's hand, but she would have none of them, being faithful to the engagement made for her by her father when she was a baby. That's wild. True, she had never seen her betrothed. I don't know what that means. And which seemed more curious, neither she nor her family had ever heard of the Saito family since they had left Sendai over 16 years before. But that was no reason why she, a Japanese girl, should break the word of her father, and therefore Oko-san remained faithful to her unknown lover, though she sorrowed greatly at his non-appearance. In fact, she secretly suffered so much thereby that she was sickened, and 3 months later died, to the grief of all who knew her, and to her family's serious distress. Dang. On the day of Oko-san's funeral, her mother was seeing to the last attentions paid to corpses, and smoothing her hair with the golden pin given to Kosan or Oko by Saito in behalf of his son Konojo. Man, I struggle with the names. When the body had been placed in its coffin, the mother thrust the pin into the girl's hair, saying, "Dearest daughter, this is the pin given as a memento to you by your betrothed Konojo. Let it be a pledge to bind your spirits in death, as it would have been in life, and may you enjoy endless happiness, I pray." In thus praying, no doubt Oko's mother thought that Konojo must be dead, and that their spirits would meet. But it was not so, for 2 months after these events, Konojo himself, now 18 years of age, turned up at Sendai, calling first on his father's old friend, Hasuma. "Oh, the bitterness and misfortune of it all," said the latter. "Only 2 months ago my daughter Ko died. Had you come before, she would be alive now." That's true, she did die of sadness. "But you never even sent a message. We never heard a word of your father or of your mother. Where did you all go when you left here? Tell me the whole story." "Sir," answered the grief-stricken Konojo, "what you tell me of the death of your daughter, whom I had hoped to marry, sickens my heart, for I, like herself, had been faithful, and I hoped to marry her, and thought daily of her. When my father took my family away from Sendai, he took us to Yedo, and afterwards we went north to Yezo Island, where my father lost his money and became poor. He died in poverty. My poor mother did not long survive him. I have been working hard to try and earn enough money to marry your daughter, Ko, but I have not made more than enough to pay my journey down to Sendai. I felt in my duty to come and tell you of my family's misfortune and my own." Well, that's sad. Sorry, I'm adjusting the book a little bit. Konojo. The old samurai was much touched by this story. He saw that the most misfortune of it all had been Konojo. "Konojo," he said often, "have I thought and wondered to myself, were you honest or were you not? Now I find that you have been truly faithful and honest to your father's pledge. But you should have written, because you did not do so. Sometimes we thought, my wife and I, that you must be dead. But we kept this thought to ourselves and never told Kosan. Go to your Sudan, I don't know what that is either. Open the doors of it and burn a joss stick to Kosan's mortuary tablet. It will please her spirit. She longed and longed for your return and died of that same longing. For love of you, her spirit will rejoice to know that you have come back for her. Konojo did as he was bid, bowing reverently 3 times before the mortuary tablet of Kosan. He muttered a few words of prayer on her behalf and then lit an incense candle and placed it before the tablet. After this exhibition of sincerity, Hasuma told the young fellow that he should consider himself an adopted son. Oh, that's really nice. That he must live with them. He could have the small house in the garden. In any case, whatever his plans for the future might be, he must remain with them for the present. This was a generous offer worthy of a samurai. Konojo gravely accepted it and became one of the family. About a fortnight afterwards, he settled himself in the little house at the end of the garden. Hasuma, his wife, and their second daughter, Oke, had gone by command of the daimyo to the there's a lot of words I can't say, to the Heigen, a religious ceremony held in March. Hasuma also always worshipped at his ancestral tombs at this time. Towards the dusk of the evening, they were returning to their palanquins. Konojo stood at the gate to see them pass, as was proper and respectful. The old samurai passed first, as followed. Oh wait, I lost my place. What just happened? Passed first and was followed by his wife's palanquin, then by that of Oke. As this last passed the gate of Konojo, thought he heard something fall, causing a metallic sound. After the palanquin had passed, he picked it up without any particular attention. It was a golden hairpin, but of course, though Konojo's father had told him of the pin, Konojo had no idea that this was it, and therefore he thought nothing more than it just must be Oke-san's. He went back to his little house, closed it for the night, and was about to retire when he heard a knock at the door. Who is there? He shouted, "What do you want?" There came no answer, and Konojo lay down on his bed, thinking himself to have been a mistake. But there came another knock, louder than the first, and Konojo jumped out of bed and lit the ando. If not a fox or a badger, he thought, it must be some evil spirit coming to disturb me. On opening the door with the ando in one hand and a stick in the other, Konojo looked out into the dark, and there, to his astonishment, he beheld a vision of a female beauty, the like of which he had never seen before. "Who are you, and what do you want?" "I am Oke-san, Oko's younger sister," answered the vision. Oh my gosh, what's the other one? "Though you have not seen me, I have several times seen you, and have fallen so madly in love with you that I can think of nothing else but you. When you picked up my golden hairpin tonight on our return, I had dropped it to serve in it as an excuse to come to you and knock. You must love me in return, otherwise I must die." What is happening? This heated an outrageous declaration scandalized poor Konojo. Moreover, he felt that it would be doing his kind host Hasuma a great injustice to be receiving his younger daughter at this hour of the night and make love to her. Wow. Okay. I guess she just said she loved him. He expressed himself forcibly in these terms: "If you will not love me as I love you, then I shall take my revenge," said Okay, "by telling my father that you got me to come here by making love to me, and that you insulted me." Asuma. The next day, they found themselves back in Sendai, and Konojo could not help feeling a little nervous as she approached the samurai's house. They stopped at the outer gate, and okay, said to Konojo, I think it will be better for you to go in and see my father and mother first. If they get very angry, show them this golden pin. Konojo stopped boldly at the front door and asked for an interview with the samurai. Before the servant had time to return, Konojo heard the old man shout, Konojo-san, why, of course, bring the boy in at once. And he himself came to welcome him. My dear boy, said the samurai, right glad I am to see you back again. I am sorry you did not find your life with us good enough. You might have said you were going, but there, I was supposed to take after your father in these matters and prefer to disappear mysteriously. You are welcome back on all events. Konojo was astonished at this speech and answered, but sir, I have come to beg pardon for my sin. What sin have you committed? Queried the samurai in great surprise, and drawing himself up with a dignified manner, Konojo gave a full account of his love affair with Oke. From beginning to end, he told it all, and proceeded. The samurai showed signs of impatience. Do not joke. My daughter Oke-san is not a subject for jokes and untruths. She has been dead for over a year, so ill that she have with difficulty forced gruel into her mouth. Moreover, what? So she's dead? Moreover, she has spoken no word and no sign of life. I am neither stating that is untrue nor joking, said Konojo. If you but send outside, you will find Okay in the palanquin which I had left her. A servant was immediately sent to see and returned to the grate, stating there was neither a palanquin nor anyone at the gate. What? Oh my gosh. Wait, how many more pages? Oh, we're like almost there. This is juicy. Konojo, seeing that the samurai was now beginning to look perplexed and angry, drew the golden pin from his clothes, saying, see, if you doubt me and think I am lying, here's the pin which Oke told me to give you. I don't even know what that says, but she exclaimed that. How came this pin into your hands? I myself put it into Kosen's coffin before it closed. The samurai and Konojo stared at each other, and the mother at both neither knew what to think or what to say or what to do. Imagine the general surprise when the sick Oke walked into the room, having risen from her bed as if she had never been ill for a moment. She was the picture of health and beauty. How is this? Asked the samurai, almost shouting. How is it, Oke, that you have come from your sick bed dressed and with your hair done and looking as if you had never known a moment of illness? I am not Oke, but the spirit of Oko, was the answer. Was most unfortunate of dying before the return of Konojo-san, for I had lived until then I should have become quite well and married to him. As it was, my spirit was unhappy. It took the form of my dear sister Oke, and for a year has lived happily in her body with Konojo. It is at peace now, and about to take its real rest. There's one condition, however, Konojo, which I must make, said the girl, turning to him. You must marry my sister Oke. If you do this, my spirit will truly rest in peace, and then Oke will become well and strong. Will you promise to marry Oke? The old samurai, his wife, and Konojo were all amazed at this. The appearance of the girl who was that of Oke, but the voice and the manners of those were Oko. Then there was the golden hairpin as further proof. The mother knew it well. She had placed it in Ko's hair before the tub coffin was closed. Nobody could undeceive her at that point. But, said the samurai at last, Oko had been dead and buried for more than a year now. That you should appear to us puzzles us all. Why should you trouble us so? I have explained already, resumed the girl. My spirit could not rest until it lived with Konojo, this costume or how I feel so well. Several questions were put to her, and it was quite evident that Oke knew nothing of what had happened, nothing of the spirit of Okasan or of the golden hairpin. A week later, she and Konojo were married, and the golden hairpin was given to a shrine at Shiokama, to which it quite recently crowns used to go and worship. Okay, that was wild. I didn't know how it was gonna go at the beginning when they were doing an arranged marriage for two, like, 14-year-old or 14-day-old babies, but that was very interesting. I mean, I guess that these are like things that Japanese citizens probably know the stories of and have heard before. So this is a first for most of us to hear it. That's very interesting. So if you guys are liking the reading videos, please hit the like button and comment maybe what story or what you would want me to read next. I'm very interested to see what you guys are wanting to listen to. So thank you so much for being here